Hello, eighth grade. Welcome back and welcome to our third lesson in second step. So guys, last week we explored and we named some important aspects of who we are by creating an identity map. Each map is unique because guess what? It represents who we are. My hope is that you are able to really embrace who you are and share your differences with your classmates and talk about them. Today's lesson is going to be a little different, where we're going to really focus on our strengths. We're going to explore how we've used our strengths to get better at something we love to do. Do you know that some of us kind of really know our strengths right off? And then some of us, it may take a little time for us to figure out what we love to do. And if it's taking you a little time to figure that out, I want you to know that it's really okay. It's really a part of growing and learning, and all of us have really been through that process. At this time, I want you guys to take out your identity map that we developed from last week. Okay, and I'm gonna give you a little time to take that map out. So as you're taking that map out, I really want you to think about this question. What's an interest you didn't like at first, but now you truly enjoy it? Okay, so let's look at our identity map. So let's look at a really good example that Alex prepared for us. So Alex talked about being interested in performing. So he loves to perform. So out of that, I guess he decided, oh, I may try band or theater. He may haven't, who knows? But this is something that he identified on his map. He also loves to write. And so maybe he's thinking about, maybe I will develop a blog one day. Alex also, he loves to cook. And he loves cooking with dad, and he loves playing the guitar. And you see, he wrote something under that where he may be interested in learning how to play electric guitar one day. So as we take our maps out, again, I want you to think about this question. What's an interest you didn't like at first, but now you really, truly enjoy it? We can have a class discussion, or you can write it in the chat. Teacher, you may pause the video. Okay, after we've talked about an interest that we didn't think that we would like at first, but now we enjoy it, I want you to think about this. Sometimes things can get in the way or create a barrier for us to explore our interests. We sometimes call these roadblocks. Did you encounter any roadblocks as you were exploring your interests? If so, what were they? Think about that, and teacher, you can pause the video. Now, the next slide, we're gonna watch a video of a real student talking about a path that she took to develop an interest and how she overcame that roadblock that came along during her journey. As you watch, I want you to think about the aspects of her character that really helped her. Her name is Selena. Let's listen to the video.
And the girls just
most difficult class long over.
So
People arguing like
they
another
on
team
one
got
hand,
it.
I didn't have a say in any of my classes. They just put me in different classes, and they put me in speech and in theater. At first, I hated it because my teacher always wanted me to like go up on stage and like do improv and like talk to people. I'm always here. I'm never gonna remember my lines. I'm never gonna like remember like where to move or what to do. And like there's all these people staring at me, and then I go up there and it's like I am the character that I have been trying to be for the last like 7 months. It took a while, but like learning like how to speak in front of people in speech class, and then learning how to like be creative and like out of the box in theater, it kind of like came together, and I started to love it. It just made me more of like an open-minded person and just more comfortable in myself pretending to be somebody else on stage. I don't know how that worked, but it did. When I'm doing theater, it's not just me, it's all of these people, and so whether you practice or you don't practice, it doesn't like just directly affect you, it affects all of these people you're working with, and it was just like really eye-opening, and like it made me realize like that's what I love to do.
So think about this. Selena did not like theater at first. So what did she do to eventually fall in love with theater? What did she do that helped her learn to enjoy theater and to be successful at theater? So think about that question, and teacher, you may pause the video. So now that we have talked about what made Selena successful, I want you to think about this. Her actions really showed who she is. It really showed a positive character. It shows that she was courageous. It shows that she was being cooperative. It shows that she was really being creative. So another way of talking about these positive and helpful aspects of her character is to call them her strengths. So let's move on. Let's move on to the activity. So now, please, I'll give you a little time to take out your student handout. So I sent the link to your teacher. The teacher will provide the link to you in the chat. Click on the link in the chat and bring that worksheet up. I'll give you a little time to do that. As you bring the worksheets out, I want you to really think about a couple of things. Each of you have strengths to help you pursue your interests, okay? What are some examples of strengths? So I'm gonna give you a little time to think about that, and teacher, you may pause the video. So teacher, after you have discussed different strengths with the class, let's go over each question individually. After we have talked about these questions individually, or after we have written them down, then we'll discuss them as a class. So let's look at the very first question. So the very first question is asking, how long have you had this interest? The second question, what do you like about this interest? The third question, do you pursue it every day, every week? How many hours a month do you spend on it? Question number 4, what are some strengths you had when you first started that helped you with your interest? So I'll give you a little time to fill out those questions. And teacher, you may pause the video. So you should have had a little time to finish the remaining questions that's in your student handout. And we can discuss it as a class. We can discuss all of the 7 questions together as a class, and we can go individually, or you can respond in the chat. Let's look at the second part of the activity. I really want you to think about this question. How can being aware of others, people's interests and strengths affect our relationships? So let's think about this question, and teacher, you may pause the video. So at this time, I want everyone to give me a thumbs up if you have learned something new about yourself or one of your classmates. There is so much talent and creativity in this classroom. Guys, we have so many different personalities, so many different strengths and interests that all make us unique and beautiful. And that's what makes us unique. So let's look at the next slide. Let's wrap up everything that we have learned. And I want you to think about these 2 questions. Number 1, was there anything new about your interests that you learned? If so, what was it? Number 2, was there anything you realized about your strengths that you didn't know before? If so, what was that? You can answer those 2 questions in the chat, or you can have a discussion with the entire class. Teacher, you may pause the video. So today we've learned and we have explored our interests and our strengths. So I want you to notice when you are using one of your strengths and how it is helping you with something you're interested in doing. In the next lesson, we're going to use our strengths to get better at something that we're learning how to do new. So next week, we're going to go into detail. Our new lesson is going to talk about harnessing our strengths, taking action with our strengths, and moving forward with that. Okay, so it's a very good lesson. It's going to give us the opportunity to really know about, really learn about ourselves and how to move forward, how to grow and learn, and how to move forward with learning what our strengths are. I really, truly enjoyed this lesson. I can't wait to see you next week. I'll see you next week for lesson number 4 in second step. See you next time, guys. See you later.